Okay, it has been a long time since I have worked on this table. That was actually probably the first video I published was the video of me assembling the tabletop. And then I came out with like a 1.5 of that with me planing the tabletop using my Ohio 08 just because I thought it was so awesome. It was just a quick video of me planing it, really. So I've got that planed down. It's been sitting for months. I've been working on a lot of other projects, and I'm really working on a lot of projects right now because it's getting close to Christmas, and I'm way behind schedule. So in between all these different boxes that I've been making, while the glues were drying, I knocked these out. They're cherry, walnut, and cherry laminated. It's not book matched, but it's this from a single piece of cherry that I split on the bandsaw. I inserted this walnut. I got a really bad piece of black walnut from my local guy. I'm really upset with myself for even buying it, but it was the only piece he had that was big enough that wasn't just moldy and full of bark. It still had bark and a lot of sapwood, so this is literally the only actual walnut colored pieces I got out of it. So I threw them together. It took me a long time to figure out what leg style I wanted to go with, and that's part of the reason I let this project sit for so long. And it sucks because I actually do need an end table. It's really frustrating not having one anymore. So I came out with this, I guess you could call it a postmodern style. It's got approximately a 5-degree taper on either end, so it'll be slightly splayed out. This is obviously an exaggeration. It'll be more to that height right there. You can see, I don't know, you're pretty close up. So it's a very, very slight angle out. It's not exactly 5 degrees. I don't have a very accurate protractor, and ultimately, as long as all 8 ends, all 4 tops, and all 4 bottoms are parallel with each other, that's what matters. So my next step will be the assembly. Will be I'll go ahead and shoot the ends there, and that'll be the next part of that. So this video is essentially just going to be the construction of the legs, and then the next video will be assembling the base and probably finalizing that project coming in the next couple days. So I just wanted to go ahead and throw this one up in the meantime so I can get back to woodworking and a little bit less how to use tools and tool restorations and shop updates and get to the actual point of the video. So the entire video will be about 850% speed, and I'll do voiceover as it goes. So my camera hiccups a lot and drops out frames, so it's probably doing that right now, and you have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'll have to voice over this as well. So hopefully these work out as well as I hoped. I made a tapering jig. I didn't show that in the video. I wish I did. I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just making it up as I went. Other people have videos on there, and I kind of understood the idea, and I threw it together out of some scrap MDF that I have because I've got a lot of it. So that's what I did to make these tapered exactly the same. They're 2.5 inches at the end, 1 inch on this end. So very excited at the finished product. I still need to smooth these out. I'm going to break the edges a little bit and then chamfer the ends so they don't crack, which is something you always want to do. So it's still an idea in progress. As I'm sitting here talking to you, I thought about putting a shelf in between them. I might not. We'll find out. That obviously could be a retrofit later on if necessary. So thanks for watching, and see you at the end. So to start out with, I took this scrap piece of MDF that I have and knocked out a template on there. That way, at the end of the day, I make sure that all my ends are all tapered in the exact same direction. I used a fairly cheap protractor to measure it out, so it's not exactly 5 degrees. I realize now that I have a slightly better protractor, and I could have marked that out, then transferred that to a sliding T-bevel and used that, and it probably would have been more accurate. But like I said during the intro, really as long as all 8 ends are parallel, that's what's most important. So I got a fairly long piece of cherry and a very, very bad piece of walnut that was mostly sapwood. I roughed it out on here using that template just to make sure that I had everything laid out correctly. Then I knocked it down to size with the Miller's Fault miter saw here, and I was able to run it through the bandsaw and then split them in half. So the cherry, I split in half and put the walnut in between it. So I had to have 2 sections of wood that I then split in half, and each section of wood gave me 2 legs. The walnut, since it was only 1 insert inside the cherry, I was able to use 1 section of walnut. Splitting that in half gave me enough walnut for all 4 legs. And then I really messed up here. There's about a 2.5-inch section that I should have ripped off first. So now I have 6 2.5-inch wide sections that are essentially book matched. Still usable wood. Using the thickness planer here to get off all the saw marks, and more importantly, make sure everything is an equal thickness. The original intent was to have a 1/2-inch thick piece of cherry with a 3/8-inch thick piece of walnut. But at the end of the day, all pieces are just slightly under there. They're all equal. Walnut slightly thinner than the cherry, but they're all equal thickness. And here I'm gluing it up. I'm not showing every single piece, just a portion of them. I followed the Wood Whisperer's advice and got myself an ink roller off of Amazon, and it's excellent. If you ever do this, I suggest it. I'm getting a little bit better at using only the right, well, it's still not the right amount. I'm getting better at using a little less too much glue. Normally it's just flowing everywhere when I do this. I was able to get a good thin coat that I'm happy with. I put the foil down to protect my tabletop, and I ran out of glue, so I had to top off. I buy it in the gallons. You'll see that I'm using a tube of Gorilla Glue. I'm really not. I haven't had Gorilla Glue in over a year. I just buy Titebond by the gallon and just keep refilling. Now I've got one of those little fancy glue bottles. I forgot the brand name. Glue-Bot, I think. I've yet to use it yet because I still just keep using that thing of Gorilla Glue. Right about here, I cut the ever-loving bejesus out of my pinky finger, which is why you see it wrapped up in tape. I literally just bumped the end of that clamp, and it wouldn't stop bleeding for about 2 days after that. You can never have too many clamps. Or gummy bears. Gummy bears. This is the next day, removing the clamps. I used one of my cheap Harbor Freight chisels to knock all the glue off of it. And then my number 6. People advise me against buying a number 6, and now for some reason I have 4 of them. But honestly, I probably use my number 6 on every single project now. My understanding was the original intent of a 4-plane was to knock down rough stock, and that's what I use it for. So I used my number 6 plane here to get everything down equal, and then I used my joiner and my smoothing, my jack plane and my smoothing plane to finish it off. So here I'm remarking using my template, and then I'm going to go over to the bandsaw here and then split those in half and give me my individual legs out of those. So I've got 2 final pieces. Those will split in half and give me my 4 individual legs. And here I am, splitting them in half. So I made this tapering jig out of the rest of the MDF from my template there. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just kind of made it up as I went along, and I am probably more impressed over the fact that it worked than any other aspect of any of this project so far. So it's wide enough that I can shoot smooth 2 of them at the same time with my 4.5, and I have virtually identical tapered legs that really don't even need sanding. I'm just going to sand them a little bit to break the edge, and then I'm going to chamfer the ends, and they're pretty much it. They're done. So that's a real quick rundown of the build of these legs. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and all that, Etsy. Check us out, and see you next time.